Yo, I need to hear this story real quick. Tell us, expose yourself, sir. Tell us your business.
This is like when I first like came on the app, really. Like, you know,
How long ago was that?
this was like what 2 years ago, maybe a year ago. Really, like a
Still
year ago, maybe.
embarrassing. Still embarrassing. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I used to, the red pill stuff. It was like easy to consume. I was just watching it like every day, like,
How old was you when you first started consuming it?
hmm?
How old were you when you started watching it?
Like 19, 20, like, like I want to say like fresh out of high school. But I had graduated,
And what
and
part of it do you think registered with for you? Like, what part
hmm?
you like? Damn, this. What part did you hear? And you was like, damn, this nigga spitting.
The part, when they be like, and it was like when they be saying like, get in the gym, focus on your.
Damn, what happened? Damn, he got snatched. That was wild. Um, maybe he'll come back and tell us the story. Um, y'all tap the screen, please. Y'all, Red Pill and the Manosphere, they coming hard for the younger generation, y'all. That shit is sad. That shit felt disrespectful. Not for me, but for you. How you get snatched like that?
And what happened?
I don't know, Max, to you.
I have no clue.
So
I was
you
just
got snatched
talking.
and you like you was gone. Did it take you outside of the live?
Nah, that's the thing. I was still in here. I don't know. That was weird.
All right, go ahead. I don't know
But
what was
yeah,
that.
like, I'm like 19, 20 years old. That's pretty much like the age group that they, really be talking to. The old niggas too, but
No, it's all ages. It's in the schools.
yeah. But yeah, I used to watch that shit faithfully, like every day. Like,
How you get out of it? Or you still be watching it on the low?
nah, I got away from that shit. I stopped watching that shit a while
What
ago.
snapped you out of it though? That's my question.
I really started watching the public offender live. I really started watching his lives. I used to hate watching his lives. I used to like when I used to see his live, I used to just scroll past it. But I don't know. One day I just sat in there and I was like, you know what? This is this stuff makes more sense. And I started watching more and learning more. And yeah, I eventually snapped out of it.
Yeah, public for the men, not the women, y'all. Keep your asses out of there. Um, yeah, so it's another so you on YouTube?
Uh, yeah, I mean, when I go on YouTube, I watch like stuff that I like gaming and stuff like that. That's usually what I watch on YouTube.
There's a
But
creator over there called FD Signify. You ever heard of him?
nah, who's that?
So he a college dropout. He was working on his PhD. He said he didn't want to finish whatever, but he do a lot of research on the manosphere, right?
Hmm.
And one of his videos, he's talking about red pill. So this is nothing new, right? I think I've heard him talk as far back as the pickup artist, but this shit ain't nothing new. This go back to like um, before the civil rights movement, right? It's
Hmm.
just a way for conservatives to like radicalize people, separate people, and it registers with the men. The talking points register with the men. But what you're consuming is alt right white supremacy propaganda, right?
Yeah.
And the younger you are, the harder it is to come out of that mentality. Because the thing is, are you 19, 20? You probably was an incel and you wanted to be with somebody, so the shit registers with you, right?
Definitely, yeah, that's exactly what it was. Like,
The problem part, though, I'm gonna let you get to it. Let me just explain this. The problem
mhm.
is that it's also marketed to younger boys. So when you're adolescent years, when you're formulating your identity, if you pick it up then, it's very hard to get out of it. And the thing is, it's not necessarily just it's yeah, you're gonna have old men, young men, whatever, of all ages consuming it. But for the younger generation, they're trying to like they're gonna be like this generation alpha, they're trying to make them way more conservative. So the propaganda it looks different for each generation. It changes and morphs, but it's the same thing. Again, it's white supremacy. It's alt right. It's how they got black men to vote for Trump. And at the even though people say it was only 20%, that's a lot of motherfuckers.
Yeah.
That's how they got 20% of black men to vote for fucking a white supremacist. You see what I'm saying? It
Hmm.
feeds off your ignorance and it makes you afraid or whatever. But go ahead, talk about your own experience. But when you get a chance, I suggest you look up FD Signifier and pull up his
Hmm.
videos about the manosphere. They long as hell, but listen to them. They good.
Yeah, but yeah, like I was saying, like I was like, I was definitely like getting deep into that red pill toxic shit. Like, guys that come out here every day talking about, the single moms and all that, and just women in general.
Were you raised by a single mother?
100%, yeah.
That shit is evil as fuck.
Yeah. That's when I started like really unpack. I'm like, I was raised by a single mom, and my mom is like the best person like I know in general. Like any man that I knew in my life wasn't really a good, you know, role model or man in general. Like most of the good people in my life are women. So that's when I started to realize like what I was consuming was stupid as fuck.
You
But
ever talk to your mother about like or anybody outside the internet about you consuming that type of stuff?
yeah, yeah, I did.
And what they say? Who you talk to? What they say?
I talked to my grandmother and I talked to like my mom and my aunties and stuff. And like I would show them what I was watching. They were just, telling me like, why am I watching that? None of that makes sense. Stuff like that.
Yeah, cause I don't know if you know this, but I got a teenage son. I had to pull that shit up and watch it with him because I'm like, we're gonna watch it together before you come across it and watch it yourself. And I had to break down like how everything aligns, like all the talking points for Red Pill align with political, like a political agenda. Like
Hmm.
anything you felt strongly about back in your Red Pill days, go to Chat GBT, put the talking point in, and ask how it aligns with Project 2025. That shit will scare the fuck out of you. And it should open your eyes to how easily people can be fooled and manipulated.
Yeah, it really is easy, especially like if you're young. Like it was crazy. I used to watch Guru. I used to watch anybody you could think of on this app. I probably used to watch. Like seriously.
Damn, I want to go back in time and cuss you out when you was red pill. Damn, that's a missed opportunity. That's some bullshit.
And
Mhm.
go ahead.
No, go ahead, cause I was going some other shit. Go ahead.
What I was gonna say. And like I just started like coming up on panels and stuff. So like I would just be in the comments just watching. Like just like yeah, they really spitting, man. This really how I've been feeling. And then like I said, one day I was just watching Pub Live. I just sat in there, I was listening, and then I just kept coming back to watch. Eventually I started unpacking, the misogyny and stuff like that. And realizing the patriarchy is really harmful to everybody. So
You ever have thoughts now? You be like, damn, where the fuck that come from?
hmm?
You ever had thoughts now and be like, where the fuck that come from?
Yeah, I think back to my old song, like, like, cause this like really like a year or 2 years ago, like really. So like, I've came like I wouldn't say like a long way, but like I definitely like my mindset has definitely changed on a lot of stuff now.
So how does it make you feel to let you know, like it wasn't just like you just happened to come across something, but it was literally political propaganda?
I mean, it makes sense though because a lot of stuff it ties back to politics and the certain things that the internet and people want to push out. Like the red pill guys, like the majority of them are Trump supporters and stuff like that. So it's not
No,
really
no, no,
surprising.
not majority of them. All of them is. They
Yeah,
all Trump supporters. That's the whole thing about it. They all Trump supporters.
yeah.
I was telling somebody else this documentary on Prime. I don't really like the documentary, I'm be honest, but I think it's a good one. Talking about brainwashing of my dad, and they talk about like it's YT people and the older white guy, and they talk about how he essentially became like he what was the fuck his name? Oh damn, it's one of those radio personalities, but I can't remember his name. But he was listening to him all the time, and he came so radical and they're like, "What the fuck going on?" Because of what he was consuming. And the interesting thing is the way they got him to stop. Cause the way they got him to switch his thinking was to change like his emails and what he was listening to and putting books down and shit. And they're like, "Oh, he fixed them." And I'm like, "That's crazy," because the whole time that man still didn't know how to critically think. That shit was wild.
Damn. Yeah, man. Like I said yesterday, that shit is like a sickness. Like Gotta like gotta get away from that shit.
You do anything? You know we got all these mentors. You one of these mentors?
Nah, I don't got no damn mentor.
But do you know about the Big Brother program?
I heard about it.
You need to do the Big Brother program.
Me be like someone's mentor.
No, you ain't. So Big Brother is just like you have a little brother, right?
Oh, okay,
Pay you
okay,
up, and you take him out to get food and shit and watch a movie. Long as you're
okay,
not a
like
creep, it should be cool. Like, don't
yeah,
be creepy, but like you just go out and just like hang out with him, right?
yeah,
Talk to him about the shit you learn. Be like, damn, that shit some bullshit. Like, sow a seed, nigga. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah,
Yeah, write that shit down. Don't forget about it. I'm gonna keep asking you about it, and I'm a consistent motherfucker. That's for sure. Um, but I love that for you. Do you comment on brainwash?
yeah,
And you can you understand how frustrating it is because like as somebody okay, so I started deconstructing before I even knew I was deconstructing. Back in my like early teen years, my first thing I deconstructed was colorism, right? I got a daughter and sister, and then when my sister had went away, my dynamics in my household had changed, and once the dynamics changed, like I got treated differently. And shit was eye opening, and it made me like unpack some shit um early on. You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
And then in my 20s, my early 20s, late teens, early 20s, I deconstructed from religion. And then, like, it's just been like deconstruction, deconstruction, deconstruction. But you know how fucking frustrating it is for something to be clear as fucking day and you talking to a person and they just swear you down some other shit? That shit is fucking frustrating. Do you know what I'm talking about?
yeah. It's like you know, people they don't really like the red pill. They're like they have a fixed mindset, so it's like really hard getting through. That's why I don't even really like if I'm talking to somebody who's red pill and I'm trying to explain my ideology and they just the point flies over their head. I don't even. It's like fuck, like
So it's different for you. So for me, red pill dudes aren't going to listen to me, right? They're not going to listen to me one because I'm a woman, and
mm-hmm.
you should know enough to know what I'm saying is true. They're not going
Yeah,
to listen to me because I'm a woman. They're not going to listen to me because I'm assertive. They're not going to
mm-hmm.
listen to me because I'm fucking loud and I'm vulgar and they don't like that shit. And I don't give a fuck. So like I'm like the enemy and I'm fine with that. I love being the villain. I love that for me. See what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But your approach gotta be different because you do have some empathy there. So you gotta be more patient with them motherfuckers. I know, like a lot of times, y'all want to cuss the niggas out like we want to cuss them out, but we
that's
cuss them
the
out. The
I can't.
reason I cuss them, you say you can't what?
I can't be like my patience is real low because like
I know, but let me school you real quick, all right?
mm-hmm.
Because like if your goal is to protect women or you give a fuck about women, you'll listen to what we saying, all right? So I'm gonna cuss men out because I know how. I mean, I don't know all the ways, but in some ways, I know how a motherfucker take his mask off, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what women need to see because it's weirdly enough, a male identified woman, she ain't gonna listen to me either. Ain't
Not
that
at all.
crazy?
Mm-hmm.
She ain't gonna listen to me either. The best way I can convey a message is by showing somebody an example and just pointing out the bullshit, showing them how to identify the bullshit, right?
Yep.
Which is what we try to do over here, but we make sure we do it in an entertaining way. But it's organized chaos. It may not look like it from the outside, but it's definitely organized chaos. We do a lot of research and a lot of conversations, and it's a system to it. You understand?
Yeah.
Niggas ain't saving the world, but we fucking doing something. So some women won't believe it unless they see it with their own eyes, and that's the good thing about social media, because for a lot of generations, older women have been trying to educate the younger generation, and what
Mm-hmm.
happens is the younger girls don't listen to the older women because of triangulation. Because they say the message is fucked up. Because for men, it's like get your bag, be successful, and then get a family, and all that bullshit. You can
Yeah.
fuck around. You know what y'all told. But for us, it's like once you graduate from high school, you should have been married already. Like that's how the message is. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
once you get out of school, it's like you ain't got a man, you ain't married, you ain't got no children. That shit is fucking crazy. That's why we got the age gap or whatever. So older dudes, they like triangulate. Oh, you so beautiful. She just mad because this or whatever. And then they fuck that girl like fuck. And then she go through this shit, and then it's like she get older on the other side. Like, damn, I wish I knew better. That's why they push the relationships on women when they're really young. Late stage
Hmm.
adolescence from 18 to 25. So the reason why you was succumbing to the red pill rhetoric because your brain ain't even fully developed. And honestly, being a male, it take a lot longer for y'all brains to become developed and y'all for y'all to fully mature, right? I don't know what your
Yeah,
saving grace was, but luckily you had some motherfuckers that you respected enough to listen to them or whatever.
yeah. It was like I
Um,
said. It was like the women in my family. Like I realized that the stuff that I was watching was opposite of what they've been teaching me. Like it was crazy.
are you happier now?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. Like when
Ain't
I
that
was,
wild? Ain't that
yeah,
wild? You fight for your own. You fight for your own subjugation without even realizing it.
yeah. Like when I was like in that like that mindset, I wouldn't say I was like like angry at the world on it, but like I was like I was an incel. Like
No, you was angry at the world. You was fucking angry at the world. Don't lie. Shit. You hated all women and you hated all the niggas who had shit you ain't have. Like you was mad at the
man, it
world.
was
You need
bad,
but the
man.
thing is you needed guidance. You talking about 19 right out of high school. You don't know what the fuck you gonna do with your life. You come across a motherfucker who tell you, oh, it's these bitches out here. And you like, yeah, it's these bitches out here. And that
Yep.
shit is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Rinse and repeat. It ain't new. This shit ain't new. And the irony is that it's red pill from the Matrix. If y'all know anything about the red pill, it's actually the
Yeah.
pill
Yeah.
for
Yeah. It's
gender
like the
affirming care. But not only that, the red pill is actually like they how you how you conforming and you think you being like that's the craziest trick to play on somebody. They thinking, oh, I'm getting a red pill. I'm seeing the world for what it really is. No, nigga, you being brainwashed.
exactly. Right.
That shit is fucking wicked. Um, but yeah, so um, for a lot of women, they won't, and I'm not even gonna put this on nobody else because for me, like I had to see it.
Hmm.
I ain't gonna lie, like I'm rebellious by nature, and I'm neurodivergent. So what people think is rude, I just think it's conversation. Not if I'm calling you a bitch, I know what I'm saying. I'm not saying that, but like I'm used to people saying like, "Oh, you being rude or whatever," and I always say I'm the like the mammy trope fits for me better. Like, cause I'm
Hmm.
always trying to like teach a motherfucker or do something for somebody. But the pick me one, I don't know. Like that one, I kind of struggle with. Cause my ex husband, we used to argue all the time. Well, at least I try to. I want to argue all the time. I'd be like, watch this video. Like, what the fuck you thought about the video? He was like, damn, that shit got on his nerves. But I ain't care. I like to argue. The fuck you want to argue if you want to be with me? I'm talking about debating, but whatever. I don't care. I'm single now. I love it. But it's just interesting because like just seeing it in 4K and like I love Red Pill for doing this part. Saying coming online, so men who usually don't have community can't connect, can't talk about things. The outcasts, because you were outcasted, correct? You
Yeah.
didn't have a circle of friends, you didn't have a support system. You came online, you found family, and that's how humans work. That's how we get young boys in gangs. That's how we get boys out here doing stuff they got no business doing when they out there selling the candy.
Yep.
And that's how we got motherfuckers in the red pill, right? Because
Yeah.
men don't actually build community the way women do. Even when y'all like see what's going on, we be like, y'all gotta build community. Y'all be like, but they don't work like that. It don't work like that. So a lot of times we have men who wants to be part of our community, and that's fine as long as you playing your role and you helping out or whatever. But we gonna clock your shit and call it out. If you can't deal with being clocked or whatever, you're not gonna make it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, men have to learn how to talk to each other. You got to find a way. I don't know. I ain't got the answer for you. I ain't never been in no motherfucking red pill. But you got to find like what was the thing that snatched you out of it. Have some empathy for that motherfucker and try to help them. I don't know. I don't know how you gonna do it. I don't know how y'all gonna do it. But we can't do it because they don't
Yeah.
listen to us. That's why I say when the niggas come over here, I ain't talking to them for real. They case studies. It's for women to see in real time what this motherfucker really think.
Right.
Pull the fucking mask off. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm. Yeah. It's yeah. I would say what really like pulled me out. Well, like I said, like I would show the women in my family what I would watch. I'm like, hey, look at this, and they would just like look at it weird and just like break it down to me a little more. Like it's just saying the same thing you said. Like it all goes back to like the politics and stuff like that. And that's when I really started to think like, wow, this shit is really harmful that I'm watching. And then I started, started watching Pub and a few other creators on here. And then,
What do you think about that guy, the guy from yesterday? Um, Specifically, how he flipped out about his father,
oh yeah,
but
yeah,
not
yeah,
his
yeah. That
mother.
was yeah, yeah. I mean, I seen that coming like I seen that coming a mile away. Like
But
the
what do you think about it though?
I mean, I think it's like it's typical because like they will like shame their mom for being there and then praise their dad for not being there. It's kind of weird.
Do you know why they do that though?
I think it's because like you said they be afraid to confront their dad. They still want their dad to be there.
Mm-hmm.
That may be part of the reason.
Where your father at?
My dad here, but he
He ain't there though.
nah, he alive, but
So
we not like close or nothing like that.
So that's something men need to cope with. Men need to, because men love to say, well, you got daddy issues or whatever, or mommy issues or whatever. Men in
Mm-hmm.
society have serious daddy issues. Serious daddy issues. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what the thing is, they want to believe that daddy, even though he wasn't there, they've got surrogate fathers, right? Or ghost fathers, they call them. So
Mm-hmm.
like Carl Winslow, Uncle Phil, them niggas, in their mind, that's daddy. In their mind, that's what family's supposed to look like. And we gotta remember when we watch those sitcom shows, that shit was brainwashing too. A team of people sat down and wrote some shit down with some. It's all traditional roles, right? If you look back and you really think about it, the shit we grew up watching was they basically wrote how they wanted us to see the world. And so many of us are trying to chase that. That's why motherfuckers who don't have no interaction with children, don't know shit about children, like I gotta have kids, I gotta have a house or whatever, because they're trying to subconsciously you've been fed this image of what your life is supposed to look like, and you feel
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, if I can get that life, I'm gonna be happy like they were on the show. Because the thing about those shows, you know what happened, it always comes full circle where they go through shit, but at the end of the day, everything's fine. They all worked it out and they stay together. But that's not how
Yeah,
life is. That's the
yeah,
fucking lie.
yeah. That shit fake.
Yeah, it's fake as shit. Because guess what? You know what's going on? The real shit that's going on in these relationships? Look around you. You talk about your mother, your aunt, your grandmother. Where your grandfather, your uncle, and your father? Ain't nowhere to be found.
Mm-hmm.
Them niggas ain't nowhere to be found. You know how many motherfuckers, their family is a bunch of women? The men ain't nowhere to be found. And when they all there, they toxic as hell. They toxic as hell. I got a teenage son. I would not bring another man around my motherfucking son because men compete with children,
They
especially
definitely.
boys.
Yep.
Yeah, they toxic as hell. And that's the part you don't see. You think, oh, everything, all these problems because it's just the women and the men need to be there. Well, the men could be there, but they don't want to be there.
Exactly. They leaving. Like.
Yeah, so it's like, and that's the interesting part. Motherfuckers think they grew up in a nuclear family and they did not. And people who
Mm-hmm.
actually grew up in nuclear families, talk to them. They'll tell you the fathers was abusive, the parents always argued, somebody was getting drunk, somebody was on candy. Like it's a back and forth. The parents was not happy. They were not happy. Even when you hear these motherfuckers, oh my parents been together for 30 years. They won't tell you about the times they was up all night, hearing them arguing,
Yep.
scared that you gonna wake up in the morning, they're gonna say they're gonna get a divorce. You want them to stay together so bad. Like the anxiety of being a child in a nuclear family is really fucked up. But we
Yeah.
glorify it because like again, subconsciously you thinking about family matters. You're like, oh, it's gonna be everything's gonna be fine. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Everything's going to be fine. And it's just interesting. Well, I think about family members and the daughter who went upstairs and never came back. And then on the Fresh Prince, how Aunt Vivian was just replaced with another person, right? So even the shows we watch, we learn that like the women, the girls, it didn't really matter if they was there or not because they didn't have a significant role. But let them try to switch out Uncle Phil.
Oh yeah.
Let them try to switch out Will Smith. It would have been a totally different story. So even the stories we watched growing up, the men had such a significant role, significant impact, and the women were backseat the whole time. The whole time. And the thing is, that's what women trying to say, like, what the fuck? Why is it that we raising the children? We out here, we not abandoning no kids.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. It's some fucked up people out here. And when I say I told I've said it a few times. Whenever you hear me say men, I'm talking about the construct of what a man is. I'm talking about like red pill men, pick me women both fall under that category of men. You
Yeah.
understand? I had this conversation with my son because he hear my lives, and I want him thinking like I see him in a negative light, but he understands or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Um, what the fuck was I saying? I lost my train of thought. Go ahead when I figure out what the fuck I was about to say.
Yeah, like the shows they definitely like glorify that mom, dad, brother, sister, the nuclear family stuff. And when I look back, like when I look back on my childhood, I wanted to, I wanted that. Like I wanted my dad to, what I'm saying, get back with my mom. Like I used to think about this shit every day. And like, damn, like they gonna, they gonna get back together so we can all be a family and whatnot. But shit, I'm kind of glad that shit ain't happened. Shit, my childhood was fun.
And that's the thing. That's the thing right there. I don't know what the fuck my point was. That shit going forever. But essentially it's like there are not a lot of fathers in the community there. And when the fathers are in the home, most of the time they are abusive. They
Mhm.
don't or they trying to dominate. They are they don't emotionally connect with the people. They're so distant. But again, we don't think about our childhoods. We think about the sitcoms. If you watch early TV from the 1950s when everybody had a TV and watched them black and white films where they was telling people how to act and behave, it's so clear. It's so clear that it was propaganda and they was programming people.
Oh yeah.
But because the storylines got so good, you don't realize it. When the election came around, they had I don't know name the movie, but somebody was talking about the movie where Demi Moore, somebody was in a movie, and it was supposed to be her when she was young and when she got older, and they was talking about a lot of flashing lights. I don't know the storyline. I ain't about to fuck it up, but it's essentially the idea was, oh, she's prioritizing herself and she's gonna regret it when she get older. But when she prioritized family, she was happier. The idea is selling to women like you need to prioritize family,
Yeah, you
right?
get married and
Yes.
have children and shit like that. Yeah.
And that's going to make a woman who's progressive subconsciously tap into that conservative mindset because we all been predisposed to it. So it's not like you can be like, damn, I don't think like that. It's a constant battle you got to fight against every single day.
Yeah. Yeah. It is a fight. Yeah, that it's really easy to for like people to get influenced by stuff like that. Like you said, just keep like just putting it in the women's head that children and being married is all that matters. That's what I used to think. So like,
Yeah, we all listen. We all had different roles, but we all thought the same thing. But
yeah,
when you wake up and you like, hold up, all these men on TV, and some of them was shitty. Married a Family, what's that? Al Bundy. He was awful. He was awful. I used to like watching King of Queens, Doug or whatever the dude. That motherfucker was incompetent as hell, right?
you said
And it's
King
just
of Queens.
justifying certain that shit.
I
It's
think I
like
remember.
justifying certain behaviors or whatever.
Mhm.
All them shows is fucking propaganda. And when we think of what at the end of the day, we think about what we want for our lives, we can't get that out of our heads. Even though that is not our collective experiences.
Yeah.
That's why so the reason why we had the nuclear family become so popular in the 50s because you got to go all the way back to the 20s, right when the Great Depression was first hitting, right?
Hmm.
You're going to see a repeat of this now, okay? So we got the Great Depression hit. The economy is shit. People can't ain't got nothing to eat or whatever. A lot of black people survive because they weren't putting their money in the bank, so they're putting their money in the fucking mattress, right?
Hmm.
But essentially, it brought people together. But that's because they had to survive. Fast forward, we get the war about to start. A lot of men go away, women in the workforce. When the men come back, they start pushing the women out of the workforce. I
Yep.
think between 1942 and 1945 or some shit like that, virtually all women or most women were pushed out of the workforce. Black women were working. Essentially, my understanding that a lot of white women were working too, but in a lot of different ways. But black women were working. That's
Okay.
very important. Black women were working, right?
Yep.
So, um, because people had struggled so much during the Great Depression, it only made sense. Oh yeah, of course. This woman can't own property. She can't. get her own bank account, but getting married to somebody and having a income and they dependent, she do the household stuff and they take the kids. It sounded perfect, right?
Yep.
Not black people didn't have that, but I'm gonna talk about the main one before I get to the specific one for black people, whatever. So it's like the children who grew up in those families are the same children who rebelled in the 60s. They the same ones who fought against the Vietnam War, same ones who participated in the civil rights movement and Stonewall, all that shit. They were fighting
Mm-hmm.
against like no, they was like no, fuck all this. And that's how we get in 1970s, women start getting all these rights because the same young girls who grew up in them fucked up families were old enough to vote and fight back. And they like, we don't want this. And
Right.
then we get the cycle repeating itself. Now it's different with black people because I'm gonna give you a lot of the woman's perspective because I ain't no nigga with the fuck. Um, Black women still had to work, and they was doing a lot of domestic work. There was laws passed for that, right? So they
Mm-hmm.
would go work in these households where the wives would mistreat them. They were rude to them. It wasn't it wasn't all good. Not only that, they had to leave their children at home. Their children, latchkey kids, at home all day and go raise YT children. Children
Yeah.
who bad as shit. And then the husbands grape these women. They grape them all the time. Here's the problem. This woman can't go home to her husband. A lot of times the black men were either unemployed. The unemployment rate was double for black men. I think it was like 10% or something like that. I can't remember the exact percentage. And then the ones who did work, they wasn't earning as much money as they thought they should have. It sound a lot like today, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this man still gotta feel like he the head of the household. And then his wife from home. You think she can tell that man that, oh, I gotta go keep going to this job, but this man is graping me? How that man gonna respond?
He not even gonna take her side really. In my opinion.
Mm-hmm. So she had to suffer in silence.
Yeah.
And then when she got home to support his ego, she then took care of the kids. She then took care of the household and all the domestic duties. And he took all his frustration and aggression out on her and the children. All because of this lie. Because the true definition of what a man's supposed to be in this society is unattainable. You can never be the most successful, the most wealthy, have the most chiseled job, be the tallest. You can't do all those things. And men, like, they can't stop. It's the reason why you have motherfuckers like Elon Musk who just want to consume, even with all the resources that he has. It's an
Mm-hmm.
illness. It's a sickness. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. That
And
shit crazy.
we see the same history repeating itself. Our economy about to be fucked.
Oh yeah.
And think about it, because they told you go to the gym, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they told you was a protector, right? And
Yep.
inherently, you only wanted smacks from women, so you couldn't connect with them. That's how
Yep.
you got to prove your masculinity. You need to dominate, right?
Yep.
And what's the reason that men say? What's one of the excuses men say that women can't? They because women like we can protect ourselves. Well, you can't do everything, and y'all can't go to where? What's one of the talking points?
They can't go like the gym or whatnot. I
Not the
believe.
gym. Can't women don't go to war?
Oh yeah, war. Yeah, you're right.
They're prepping y'all for war. They're prepping y'all for war. Remember, every talking point aligns with a political agenda. You
Yeah.
fuck the economy up. You got men who feel like I'm supposed to provide for my family. At the same time, when they pushing women out of the workforce, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to provide for said family. You got to prove you're a man. But if ain't no jobs around, hold up. But the military paying good. They got benefits over there. Where you gonna go?
Yep. Straight to war. Yep.
Going straight to war. And guess what? It's easy for you to leave your family because you have no emotional connection to your family.
Right. You don't even know them. They just there. That shit
They just
crazy.
there, their standpoint. And you going to war to prove your manhood. You go with pride. And the lie is we think motherfuckers went to war because they was patriots. That's not
Nah.
true. They were forced into it.
Yep.
Because the US military is not fighting for freedom. It is fighting for colonization and imperialism.
Mm-hmm.
But we're trained because we're told to support the troops. They fighting for our freedom. How are they fighting for our freedom? Who's trying to attack us?
Man, that
Or they
shit.
fighting to huh?
I say that shit. It's like really, it's deep. Really, like
Mm-hmm.
it's more than just like the shit niggas be saying on TikTok. Like,
It's way more deeper than that.
yeah,
But you think you can go to a motherfucker and just tell them that?
nope. That's why I don't even like. It's. I don't know. My patience is real low for them niggas. Like, it's like they don't they listen to respond. They don't like really listen to understand. And
Now
like,
here's why you gotta learn empathy. Cause you
mm,
can't other people. This is where I'm struggling. I'm being vulnerable right now. I struggle because I've been trying to build community, but I have a toxic trait. And my toxic trait is if a motherfucker is on some bullshit, like I don't like being manipulated. If I feel like you manipulating me or you on some bullshit, I'm gonna cut you off. You can't build community like that.
yeah,
So I be struggling. I be struggling. I can cuss a motherfucker out. Corey, mind your goddamn business. But at the end of the day, community is what we need. A lot of people are going to be class conscious because of this. Hope I don't know if it's going to be possible if y'all get a chance to read up on the Red Scare, um, and how they use the Soviet Union to push that this mentality that capitalism is the way. The reason why we have slavery, the reason why we have prison, the reason why we have this classism is because of capitalism. Capitalism benefits a very small percentage of people, a very percent, and the rest of the people think, oh, one day I'm gonna have a lot of money. We using red pill. Don't lie. How you thought you were gonna have a lot of money, didn't you?
man. I thought I was gonna be Andrew Tate or something.
Exactly. I met an old man. And this man was 50 something. Told me he was gonna be a billionaire. I said, "You, sir, you ain't never gonna be a billionaire." He got mad at me. How dare you tell me that I'm definitely gonna be a billionaire? When I make tax moves, I make tax moves like the rich men. Sorry, they're trying to get out of paying for the social program that you need, and you trying to find loopholes too. Okay, all right. And there was a woman up there. We was on Heavy's live, and she was like, "Yeah, you can't tear that man down like that." I said, first of all, he not gonna be a billionaire. I don't give a fuck what you said. Nor should he want to be one because people don't know what billionaires are. Billionaires are people who steal. You cannot be an ethical billionaire because what a billionaire does, let's say I own the means of production, like I have access to these raw materials, right? And you build homes. This nigga went on a teacup. You better be listening.
My bad. I got a call. My bad. My bad.
You fine, you fine. I'm talking shit. So you build homes. I don't know how to build homes, but I had access to the materials, the raw materials. These raw materials that was out in nature, and I claimed them as mine because the military that we manipulate people to think. I'll make it to that in a second. But the military, they make sure, or the police in the system will make sure that you pay me, even though these are in nature. I'm claiming they mine. Then I'm gonna hire you to build this home, right? Let's say this home, we get $100,000 for it. But hold up, I gave you the materials, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
How much do you think you should get paid for building the house versus me who provided the materials?
Oh, you asking how much?
What percentage? What
Shit.
percentage do you think is fair?
At least half.
No, no. I think I should get 95% and you'll get 5%. If you matter of fact, you can get 7% if you do it faster.
Mm. Yeah. 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 That
And
makes sense.
remember, you're not the only person who's working for me. There's a lot of people working for me.
Yeah. That played. Yeah. That played a
That's
part.
what the billionaires are.
Yeah.
The billionaire people be thinking Trump ain't earned a bunch of shit. His father made fucking slums with federal assistance, right? Them
Yeah. I seen
motherfuckers, they
the.
steal money. Go ahead.
Yeah. I see. This was like a while ago when I think when Trump was like first running for president, like around like what 2016 versus him and Hillary. I seen a video. It was like he was like, yeah, he was like, yeah, my dad, he gave me a small loan of $1 million. I was like, what? A small loan? And that's how I knew from then. I was like, yeah, this is strictly about who has more money and more resources and shit like that. So
And the thing about Trump, he's extremely insecure because the resource, I mean, the money, the heir to his father's throne or whatever, he wasn't supposed to be that. His brother was
mm,
Robert. But the problem with Robert is he wanted to be an air pilot, and his father considered that a bus driver in the sky. He looked down upon it. So guess who
mm,
stepped up? They put on they was constantly performing, trying to outdo their brother, Mr. Trump here. Very insecure man
yep,
because of that. Because it wasn't something he felt he had to manipulate himself to get it. Fucked up. That's why he don't have empathy. Because fuck my brother, I want these resources.
yep.
Even Elon Musk, how did he get his money?
Uh, I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't really look at
So
Elon like that. I think
mhm.
he
A
he
lot of
one.
people think, huh?
I say Elon. He definitely he one of them guys I don't pay attention to like that. He just kind of weird to me too. So, but yeah, how did he get his money?
He in his fucking way, and that's very important how he got his money because motherfuckers think, oh, he invented Tesla. He's this very smart guy, right? He had a fucking quote when he said he didn't go to college. He hollered at people who did, and the motherfuckers like, I ain't gotta go to college. I'm gonna be like Elon. Elon
Mm,
didn't earn his money, okay? Elon's father in South Africa used slave labor. African people, African children working in the mines. That's how he developed his wealth. And that's how Elon got it. And he been like using government contracts on so speak to get his wealth. Uh Fucking with the stock market and shit. He ain't no
mm,
fucking genius. He bought Tesla because he had the money for it.
yeah,
And when he first bought Tesla, actually did horrible before it did better. And that's not because of him. It's because of people who, again, he can hire because of the money.
yeah. If you
So
got
you
that,
got another insecure motherfucker who just wants to consume, 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 and drunk with power because he didn't earn shit. And motherfuckers out here thinking he earned it or he a genius.
yeah. When I was in that red pill shit, I thought, man, I thought, fucking, what's his name, Bozos. I thought, uh, Elon. I thought they was like smartest people ever. But as I got out of that shit, I realized like all that shit was really handed to them. They didn't really like work for that shit.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, and the shit was cost at others people like lives and shit like that. So
And if his father got his fucking fortune from slave labor, why would he be against it,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
And here's the other part. It's a lot of other billionaires who are in the background. You need to look into see what the fuck they doing, right?
Oh yeah.
But one other thing I want to say too, we remember. Did I say communism was always the goal? Did I make that point? Communism was always the goal. Like
I don't believe so. I don't think so.
no. So I was talking about the Red Scare, and I went into something else. But communism has always been the goal. We benefit much more from something more bartering than the USD, right?
Hmm.
Because money is an illusion. And this is the most important part because the billionaires ain't shit. The reason why they have power is because they have this monopoly money they give you. You feel like, oh, I gotta have this monopoly money. So guess what? I'm gonna sacrifice my life, my livelihood, and my body because I need this monopoly money in order to survive. Remember, it's under military, right?
Yep.
You're paying motherfuckers for land that who the fuck told you that somebody can own land? The earth is here. You don't see no animals in the wild renting
Exactly.
no damn property, whatever. That's not how people in indigenous cultures survive, right?
Yeah.
So the thing about it's interesting when you learn about like who was the weapons of mass destruction? Who was that guy? Y'all, I'm terrible with names. So I know Gaddafi was supporting. They wanted to have a united currency in Africa, and then they wanted one in the over there in the Middle East, right? What the fuck is
Hmm.
that man's name? Is it Hudan Hussein? I think it's Hudan Hussein. The you know the lie of mass destruction. A lot of times, what happens is they want to make sure that they can formulate their own form of currency, right?
Yeah.
And the most recent one I know about is BRICS, which is interesting considering how things are working right now. And be careful with it. I don't know. I'm gonna be all over the place. But anyway, so the U.S. dollar, the money that we use, is a weapon. Let me tell you how. So yeah, so let's think gentrification, right?
Mm.
Are you somewhere where gentrification is a thing?
I'm not really sure. What does that really mean? I'm not really sure what it means.
So gentrification is when people can they move to an area. Usually, there's like a lot of blight. Um, let me like the vacant homes. Now people don't have a lot of money, and you have people who move in with more resources, and they're able to buy up all the properties, and they drive up the taxes and everything, and push everybody out, right?
Mm.
So if you live in a, let's say you're in a black community, that's your community, right? It's your fucking community. Whether you're
Mm.
redline or whatever, it's your fucking community, right?
Right.
They show up to your city, they're like, oh, we gonna build this home, this big ass home over here. You will be like, you don't get the fuck out of here, right?
Right.
But you don't. Why? Why don't you do that?
I mean, I would assume it's kind of hard to do. I mean, they have
They have
more
what?
more resources than
What resource do they have?
money.
They have money.
Yep.
Because their money that they have, they can go in the community and then take it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've
It's
seen
a,
that before.
it's an act of war.
Yeah, I've seen that in my city before. Yeah.
Cause like that's what I'm saying. Like, it's interesting how like money used to be like the gold coins or whatever the coins were, and they actually had some value, and then we had paper or whatever. Now you don't get nothing. You got some code in the computer. Your code in the
Mhm.
computer is what you have. You depend on that. Don't let that system go down.
Oh yeah.
And right, and we think about inflation, prices going up. We also don't realize that the U.S. dollar, the value of it is going down.
Yep. I,
Imagine if anybody saw those pictures from like World War I, I believe, when they was like, you see children with barrels of money and shit, because they had no
mm.
fucking value. They had no fucking value. If you have you seen those images of kids, all people who had like so much money they were just using it as like wallpaper.
Uh, I probably did. I don't know. I don't really remember. I probably did though.
Yeah, no fucking value. And now we see gentrification is not just happening in urban environments, it's happening globally.
Yeah.
It's happening globally. These motherfuckers are able to take their money, this made up monopoly money, and they're taking over globally. That's why I say, like, if you know anything about, you remember the movie 300?
Oh yeah, I love 300.
Yeah. So the interesting thing about 300, right? Remember, the boys at a young age, they are taken
Mm-hmm.
from their families and they prepare for war. The military was so prestigious, like, the Persians just couldn't come and take over. They won the war, essentially, right?
Yeah.
But eventually, they fell. Do you know why they fell?
Why the Persians fell?
No. Why did the Spartans fall?
Spartans fall. They
They
got.
had
I
the best
mean,
military. They had the best military,
yeah, they
right?
did.
And remember, how do you get people to join the military?
Shit, propaganda really
Not
making
just
it
the
seem.
propaganda. Remember what they did here with the economy, right? When
Mm,
people have no other means of survival, they do what they have to do. It's not a patriotic act. It's enslavement.
yeah, and like you said,
So,
they already not connected with their family and whatnot, so it's easy for them to just leave.
mhm.
Yeah.
But it's essentially they fell, and money is what fucked them up.
Mm,
Money is what took over. They didn't have the infrastructure to battle money. Money is an act of war. Like it's a weapon.
yeah.
And that's why it's important that, like, when we think about, yeah, we got to participate in capitalism, but you got to name your price, right? Because you
Right.
got a lot of what people are seeing their heroes turn. Like the shit Snoop Dogg, the shit with Snoop Dogg is fucking diabolical. That shit he said about people performing at the first inauguration and for him to perform at the second, and then for Elon Musk to go to fucking Twitter and essentially put on there. I forgot what he put on there, but he basically called him out for it, but as a way to like, look, I can make this monkey dance type shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they all, why is Nelly, why is Snoop Dogg, why all these niggas falling? What was the one I was just seeing yesterday? What's the golf player? What's that man name? Y'all, I'm stuck with
Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods. Why are all these people falling? Why are they destroying their reputation? Why is Nelly performing in a at a free concert and nobody there? What are they
Mm-hmm.
sacrificing their careers for?
Money.
Money.
Yep.
It's showing people, hey, we can do what we want when we got money, but the money don't really mean nothing. So in communism, it's a bartering system. It would mean you actually have to actually give me something. So instead of me giving you money, we would trade services.
Yeah.
You build a house and maybe I build some machine or something. I don't know, but you have a different type of system. But money don't have no fucking value on his value because we acknowledge that it does. But it is an act of war, and a lot of times people don't realize that. That's why your heroes are falling because they're succumbing to the money. Because what is the price?
Right.
When is it enough? Because again, when that man told me that he wanted to be a billionaire, I'm like, hold up, you shouldn't even want to be a billionaire because if you becoming a billionaire, what side are you fighting on?
Exactly.
And what do you have to do to get it?
Right. You a billionaire. You can't be on like the regular people side, really. You know.
Yeah, so I ain't gonna keep going on and yapping and shit.
And
But
that shit is crazy. This world is really fucked up for real. I be thinking about that shit every day. Like, how do
well,
we get to this point?
so here's the thing you gotta understand too. So human behavior, this is why they say you learn from history so you don't repeat it. It's not going to be the same people, but it's the same fucking patterns. It looks slightly different, but it's the same fucking patterns. They repeat
Yeah,
over and over
100%.
and over again.
Yeah.
The dictatorships that we see rising now, this shit
Mm-hmm.
happened before. But the way that power becomes a sickness to those who have no accountability is unchecked power. The problem is they want to be a collective group, but they can't come together the way people in poverty can, right?
Yep.
Or people in the lower classes because they all want to be number one. They all want to be number one. So they don't trust each other. They end up fighting each other. And the people at the
Mm-hmm.
bottom start realizing this distinct class difference and they rebel. If you look into like Western civilization, you will see the rise and fall constantly since the Crusades. Rise and fall happen over and over and over again. You
Yep.
can look into like what happened with Athens. You can look at so eventually it does like you got people who fight back. But people right now is not there. People are still like, what can we do? We see the people we elected outside of buildings like they won't let us in. Y'all
Yeah.
need to cut the lock and go the fuck inside. What are you talking about? They won't let you in.
We'll break that motherfucker open.
Yeah. And that's when we have stuff like religion, right?
Yep.
Because religion, my favorite verse in the Bible, only I don't fuck the Bible. I hate that book. But it exposes itself when it say that one the Proverbs one I'm always talking about. The train up a child in the way that it goes so they'll never part from it. You are given a Bible verse, you'll learn about the Bible in the childhood for a fucking reason. Boston
Yeah.
University did a study. They took children who were secular and they took children who were from religious families and they told them these stories. The children from the secular families were able to tell that, oh, this flying dragon is fantasy. The child who learned that snakes talk could not tell the difference between fantasy and reality.
Mm-hmm.
So, with religious fundamentalism, it actually causes damage to the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is the last part of your brain that develops. It's why your brain, the top of your skull, is soft when you first come out. That's the
Mm-hmm.
part we talking about when you're not fully developed until you're like 25. We're talking about the prefrontal cortex of the brain. It's
Okay.
damaged. It's
Mm-hmm.
damaged. Because instead of you practicing critical thought, you're just taking the information.
Yeah.
You're being told information.
Just
In the
taking in
school,
anything.
they change the curriculums a lot, but especially in black schools, you don't see a lot of change. Instead of you working on project and learning, hands-on learning, they just giving you information. You're supposed to remember it. Remember this is going to be on the test. Remember this is going to be on the test. They're training you to just take in information. You're not critically thinking.
Yes, I hated. I hated that shit. I hated tests in school. I was terrible on tests.
Everybody was. That's the kicker.
I
And
think
I
because
was
it was like so like I wouldn't say it was necessarily the test. I think it's just like the anticipation. Like like damn, I got a test Friday. Damn, I got a test in a few days. Damn, I got like it was so stressful. Like it was just
yeah, testing anxiety.
yeah.
But
I
the
had
worst
that.
is The worst is a standardized test, right? Because people
Mm-hmm.
think the test is that you're supposed to get better, get better, get better, right? Here's
Right.
the thing: so schools are still segregated. So I'm gonna say black schools, right? So
Mm-hmm.
in the black schools, once the scores start going up, the test gets harder. They change it.
Yep.
And it's subtle things you may not realize, right? You give a 6-year-old a test and say, how many whatever is behind the sofa, right?
Yep.
But in your household, y'all say couch.
Yeah.
Or they say something about the salsa. We don't use no fucking salsa. We use bowls and plates.
Yeah. And they'll be like, the cupboard. I'll be like, what you mean, a cabinet? Fuck you mean a
So they
cupboard?
purposely, but if you sitting there and you're a young child, you don't know what the fuck they talking about. Come on, let's be for
Right. I'm
real.
like, yeah, you're right. I was definitely confused
So
at some point.
every year, the teachers at the schools get the test scores from the students, and in the black schools, majority of the students are in the red every fucking year.
Yeah.
Every fucking year, it's like sometimes you may not get anybody in the green. You might get one or two in the green, a little bit in the yellow. Green is on grade level or slightly above.
Mm-hmm.
Yellow is one grade level below, and that seen as good. Red, 2 grade levels or below. I was teaching 5th grade math, and I had kids in there on kindergarten level.
Man,
That's
I
what they
hated
tell
it.
us. That's what they tell us they're on kindergarten level. But that's the way the curriculum is being taught, right?
Yeah.
So, the interesting thing about math is you interact the things you're trying to learn this algorithm with is not making sense because guess what? You actually did all the things that you was on the test before. You've done them
Mm-hmm.
already, but you don't understand it because it's in a language you don't understand, and that's done on purpose. I made a point like if you know, and you know what ancient Kemet is?
Ancient who?
Kemet.
I think I heard it, but I don't really know too much about it. I've
So
heard of it.
they talk about Europe or whatever, but like ancient Kemet is when before like the Greeks and Romans went over to northern Africa and
Mm.
started like colonizing whatever or Asia. They had a lot of shit going on, a lot of wars or whatever. So they because of how high quality of life it was, because when you have stuff like art and academia, you have to have a period of peace, right?
Yeah.
Europe was tiny. They was in the dark ages. They was fighting all the time. They didn't have time to learn to read and write and try to see things, right? Life was different. But over in Northern Africa it was different because they had time, they had enough resources, especially if you somewhere where the climate is better. If you're not constantly trying to grow resources, collect enough resources for when it get cold and it's just warm, you good. You're not, you know what I'm saying? You
Mm-hmm.
chilling. It's tropical all year, or whatever. And remember, the Sahara Desert wasn't always a desert, right?
Nope. Yeah. Yeah. I remember when I
So
first learned that, I was like, what?
yeah. So even when they talk about that period when you learn about Jesus, fuck Jesus in the story, but I'm making a point.
Yeah.
Jesus going off to learn, right? There's a big chunk of his life you don't learn about. The idea was that he was in ancient Kemet learning. A lot of these YT people went over to ancient Kemet to learn things, and then when they went back to Europe, they took credit for it. They
Yeah.
claimed, "Oh, I invented this," right? So imagine going to a learning math from people who learned it from recognizing patterns and looking around their environment, and they're trying to teach it to you, and then you claim I invented math, and then you try to teach it to another person. It's going to be very limited in the way you can teach it. So a lot of times when we think we bad at math, we don't know what's going on, whatever, it's because we're not being taught by the people who actually know how to do the math. So, like when I was teaching, it was very hard for me to finally get to the point where I was utilizing storytelling and hands-on learning because that's not the way the curriculum was. But
Mm-hmm.
that's how the kids understood. One example I could think of, I was doing 7th grade math doing virtual learning. And it was first of all, it was one of them weird ass word problems when it's like a bulb. And my student was like, "What the hell is a bulb?" I'm like, "Oh, that's what you put in the ground to grow a tree or a plant or something, whatever." They know what the fuck they was talking about. But they had to figure out his equation. Like when you get like 2x plus 3y equals
Oh, I
20
hated them
$20,
equations,
right?
man. Oh my goodness, I hated that shit.
My student was like, "What the fuck?" So I had to what it's called culturally relevant pedagogy, when you take aspects of a child's culture and what's around them to get help them better understand. So my students, most of them went to the family dial up to school, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, let's do it like this. You got $20. Because remember, it's 3x plus 2y equals x. It equals $20. It wasn't 20, it was like 20, 48 or whatever. I'm just making the number up. Don't fucking matter.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you go to the store. Now, let's say X is soap powder. And let's say Y is bleach. Now, if I say about some bulbs, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. You're like, huh? But if
Right.
I say, oh, you go get 3 soap powders and 2 bleach and come to $20, then do you understand the problem?
A little bit. Yeah. A little bit.
It makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I got to figure out how much one of the soap powders costs because I got 3 of them, and one of the bleach costs because I got 2 of them. And if I put them all together, I'm gonna have $20. Then it made sense because it was taking what they had already been doing in their life and connecting it to what they was learning in the classroom. And that's the way math should be taught. Hands-on, project-based learning. The teacher shouldn't be just telling you the right answer. You should be struggling with it. And it's just not math, it's all the curriculum should be like that. So a lot of times you have kids in the schools who have ability, they think they don't. For example, Black children have to learn how to code switch at a very young age. However, we're not told that that benefit of going to a school and learning a different dialect or vernacular different from the one we at home. We're not told that we have the same benefits of a child who's multilingual. We say, "Oh, you stupid."
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because African American vernacular language, and why I don't like the code switch, and I like to talk about my origin of dialect, is because it follows a certain amount of rules. That's why when YT people try to talk black, that shit sound funny as shit. They
I
don't know
don't
about the
know. Yeah.
habitual B, the double negative, or none of that shit. So when you learn about it, like, hold up, why the fuck would I try to hide that? There actually was I think it was Philly for a short period of time. They had used AAVE as a way to connect with the standard English to like teach the children side by side, and they got it. They was getting it. So a lot of times, and from a young age, you think you dumb. That's what you think. I'm stupid. I don't know how to do this. Everybody around me know how to do it, but you don't realize that. First of all, everybody around you struggling, right?
No, for real.
I had students who raise their hand all the time, and some of the kids feel they feel like damn they raise their hand all the time. Now some of them knew it. Don't get me wrong, but I had some students who raised their hand and know what the fuck they was talking about, right?
And I hated asking for help in school. Because everybody, like you said, like everybody, you would think everybody around you was like, know what they was doing, but the whole time they really wasn't. So when I used to look around my classroom, everybody heads down, doing their work. I'm the only one looking up, lost as hell.
But
Like,
see, that's the thing. You're not the only one. You feel like you're the only one. That's the
yeah,
thing. You can't talk. Nobody. And then when you're done, are you going to tell your friends that you were struggling?
hell
Are you
no,
going to
that's
tell them,
wrong.
exactly? So that's the funny part. That's why I said most of the kids are in the red and they're insecure about it. And then the ones who are in the green, right?
Mm-hmm.
They feeling themselves. They feel like they better than other kids, and those are the ones that usually assimilate into the dominant culture because they think they better than other kids. And I can have empathy for it because I went to Baltimore City schools, and from pre-K to like 6th grade, I was in honor roll every year.
Yep, that's how I was.
Remember?
And then when I got to when I started getting 7, 8, 9, that's when shit started. Like I was like, damn, this shit kind of hard.
No, but this is what I'm saying. So when 7th, 8th, like I actually they took me out of my math class and they put me in the algebra class, and it was like 3 students in the classroom, maybe 5 or something. So it's
Mm,
interesting. All other kids don't know. They just see you leaving. They don't realize that you go to class and they only picking certain students. So it's a certain. We knew we were smarter than other kids. That's what we thought anyway, right?
right.
The interesting thing when I went to high school, um, because we moved, I was able to go to a school that was. I went from a school from a low income community to one that was in
Mm-hmm.
a middle income community, and I went to class on the first day, and they was talking about verbs and adverbs and stuff like that. I didn't know what the fuck they was talking about, and then they told everybody to start. And for the
Wow.
first time in my life, I'm like, I'm stupid. That's what I told myself.
Yeah.
Oh, for real. It was it fucked with my identity. Damn, that might be actually when I say I'm deconstructing, it might started back then. It fucked with my identity because in my mind, people have always told me I'm smart and all this stuff. And shit, I don't know nothing. Because what you don't learn is when you at the low income schools and they put you in gifted and talented, You're actually
Hmm.
on grade level.
Yeah,
You're
when
not
you
gifted and talented. You're on grade level. Everybody else is doing accommodations and modifications.
yeah, when I was in elementary school, like, because how my elementary school worked, like some days out of the week, they'll pull the gifted kids, how you want to say, they'll pull them out of the class and they'll like go do like certain stuff like that. So, and around the kids I was around, if you wasn't, one of the gifted kids getting pulled out to do like fun stuff and whatnot, you was looked down on. So it was kind of, it's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
So it had me that, like you said, it had me definitely questioning myself, like, because like you said, like my family, they always instilled in me that I was, smart, intelligent, and whatnot. But then when I went to school and I didn't know something, I like felt really bad about it. I'm like, damn, am I a fraud? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
am I really smart, or are they just telling me that? So it was
And
definitely,
that's something I talk about when I talk about not validation, right? When
yeah,
people give you compliments and validation, they think they're doing a nice thing, but it's actually not a good thing to do. Because
hmm,
once you say I am something, I feel like I gotta be it. Especially if like I felt an ego boost when you said it. So it's
yeah,
actually not good to tell children stuff like, "Oh, you smart." It's definitely not good to tell them they dumb. They get learned helplessness when they stop trying. But telling a child they smart, they have an ego crisis when identity crisis when they feel like they not smart. Or when you get a compliment to somebody and they feel like it's like it seems like a genuine compliment, but I don't feel that way about myself.
all right,
It can make a person very insecure. So if you give a compliment, what you're supposed to say, hey, I like how you giving this effort. I can tell you really care about this. I admire that or something.
hmm,
As a way to encourage people to work harder, but not label them something.
yeah, because like when you like you said, when you get, when your people tell you that you're, intelligent, and smart as a kid, and then like, shit, you go out in the real world and you feel like you got to know everything, and you can't know everything. It's just so much to learn. And then like when you don't know something, you just feel like less, which you shouldn't feel less than nobody.
Yeah, so the styling twins, I ain't gonna lie, I don't do the astrology. I don't do astrology at all, but uh oh yeah, whatever worked for you. I got a little triggered when I saw that. Um But yeah, I feel like I'm like all over the place. But at the end of the day, it's like um it don't have to be when you see things different when you take in new information it can be very overwhelming, right?
Yeah, that's how it was. Like that's really how it was. Like I'm like, I done been watching this shit for like what, a minute now. Like all this new shit is kind of, like that's why, like I said, when I was first joining, like pub and them live, like I wouldn't really sit and listen. I would just like scroll up, but I took time out one day to like sit and listen, and then shit, now we here. Shit.
But see, here's the thing. Don't be like the dude from that documentary who took in a bunch of negative information
Hmm.
and thought one way, and then took in it was seeing this positive information and thought another way because you're still brainwashing yourself. The key is you got to listen to all of it. You got to listen to all of it because you need to. It's like you have to be able to go into a red pill space for them to say some bullshit and you recognize it's some bullshit. But you
But
can't just be like, I ain't in those spaces no more. The thing is, you have to listen to all of it. To be
mm,
honest,
yeah,
that's the part that sucks,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Which is why I like it over here because they come over here and I get to listen to what they saying. Because my God, them motherfuckers get on my fucking nerves,
yeah. You be
man.
on their ass. That's why I started watching you like what, around like, I'm gonna say like June, July. I would say.
You been here that long? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. Like I said, I didn't like. I've just started coming up on panels. Like literally just started. Like around like started this year like January. I just started coming up on people panels and stuff like that. But before, prior to that, I would just be in the comments, listening, watching niggas crash out.
And the reason why it works, because one person can't clock everything.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And this is why community is so important.
Hmm.
Because like the thing about having multiple people clocking behavior is always going to be somebody who catch something that another person can't catch.
Hmm.
Can't don't catch. Darko is really good about that. Like she said,
Yeah.
when she down in the comments, she can catch stuff we can't catch. Because when you up here, like you got, it's like it's bam, 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 bam. You got to be quick with it.
Yeah.
But she's like, she'll come out and be like, hold up, y'all missed this part. I'm like, oh damn, that's crazy. Sometimes we watch the lives back and we like just see if like, hold up, did that really happen? Did that look a certain way?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's just interesting. But the thing is, community is important. One person can't clock everything. If I sat up here by myself trying to clock everything, one, it's not good for my ego. Because then I'm going to start feeling myself. Because that's what happens when you have a certain platform, which is why I try to say, like, hey, if you want to say I'm doing something wrong, tell me. I'll make space for you to do that. And I had one woman who would try to do that all the time, but she was problematic because she just was trying to humble me, and that shit was interesting. But on the back end, we have those conversations, and it hurts your fucking feelings. And
Mm-hmm.
criticism is supposed to hurt your feelings because it's your ego. Your ego too fucking big. When somebody check your ego in real time and you deal with the emotion, you get uncomfortable, you sit in that feeling,
Yep.
it helps you grow. Like I did that with my son one time. Something I ain't gonna give too much details. Tell my business. Um, but he blamed me for something that wasn't my fault. Now, whenever something usually happens, I usually reflect and I go back and when we follow up, I talk about what I could have did better and he do the same. But like he was like, I was like, hold up, no, 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 no. And I explained to him, no, that wasn't my fault. It was yours. And when I explained it to him, I could tell it hurt his feelings. And
Right.
he wanted to walk away and go in his room and be by himself and let that cognitive dissonance soothe his pain. But I'm like, no, I want you to sit there, knowing what you just said, what you did, and that you were wrong. I need you to sit right there.
Right.
And I know it feel bad, but I want you to sit right there.
Right. Let that shit marinate.
And it's hard.
Yeah, it is.
It's hard. But guess what he can do now? He can admit when he's wrong.
Oh yeah, 100%.
He can take the criticism because he was able to sit there. And that's the problem with men specifically,
Mm-hmm.
because y'all not held accountable. That's why the circle jerk is so fucking problematic. Because you saying some fucked up shit and you supposed to be sitting there. And here come Roger with his bitch ass fucking, it's okay, man. You good. Like, stop doing that shit.
Yeah, like these
Let
dudes,
me.
they'll first join a live. They don't even be listening. As soon as they hear so like a guy being attacked, they just come to the like they just come in like Superman or some shit. You don't even know what the hell going on. You just hear a nigga getting yelled at and you want to defend him. Like that's weird. Like he could be saying anything. Like
Why do you think they're doing that? Because they don't give a fuck about that nigga. And you know
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Why they doing that?
They just trying to, they just trying to get down on the woman, really, in my opinion. And it's like it's really like it's a
No, no,
cult.
no.
Like it's,
Women is like a person with an addiction problem, but they use the substance to cope with the underlying issue. Women is the substance. It's what you get to blame the problem, but it's not what it is.
mm,
What other reason? You can't just say men. There's a little more to it than that. Why do you think a man who's a total fucking stranger, you ain't never met that man, why
mm-hmm.
would he come and defend you when you being problematic?
Trying to think. My best, I mean, in condition really to defend each other. Like it's like a cult. It's like
It's a fucking cult
yeah,
because he
yeah,
don't. That's
patriarchy. She
why.
said it. That's the word I was trying to think of. Yeah.
So right now, my background is actually different because I usually put men. I put people in there for a reason, but I
Mm-hmm.
usually put men. Right?
Yeah.
A man will see men on the screen and he'll go defend men. There ain't even gotta be a man on the panel. He's defending men. Hey, Lady Q. He's one man defending all men because so here's how it works. When you're a young boy, you're not allowed to have certain expressions, emotions, and feelings and talk a certain way, move a certain way, dress a certain way, a certain rule. Now it's the same thing happened with girls, but in a different way, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Like
even like it's reinforced from your parents and society. Even in subtle way, we literally they have studies when they do it with babies, they realize people just faster to pick up a baby girl crying than a boy. It's real fucked up, right?
yeah, yeah. I've noticed that like, cause I have like younger cousins and whatnot. Yeah, I've definitely noticed that. Like my, my the girl cousins, they would be picked up immediately, and then like the boy cousin, they would go, let him cry. He'll be all right. Let him cry. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that.
Now hold fast. Don't think because that girl getting picked up that is unfair because she getting all the attention, he not. That
Mm-hmm.
shit is diabolical too, right?
Yep.
I'll get to that in a second. But with the boy, he's not able to do certain things. So he start repressing, right?
Yep.
We have
Mm-hmm.
certain developmental milestones we have to reach to get to the next part of our development cycle, right?
Yep.
So when you don't, so the thing is, being sad because your crayon broke versus being sad because your grandparent unalive is same emotion, but it's different levels of sadness,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So not only do you have to be able to recognize the emotions, you need to recognize their range of emotions. And when you tell somebody they can't have that emotion, they don't understand the range of their emotion. They repressed. Repressing is holding it all in, keeping it
Mm-hmm.
all in, right?
Yep.
But at the same time, you hold it in because you want acceptance. And this is why men have abandonment issues, right?
Yep.
Because let's say your family not toxic, right? They
Mm-hmm.
probably is because we all fucked up. So you go to school and you want friends. Now for the girls, it's different. Because the girls, it seems like they just click. They fighting and shit, but they just clicking. But the
Yeah.
boys, no, you gotta earn your place. Your
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah. You're right. Cause like if you didn't, yeah, from my childhood, well, like I said, I had a fun childhood, but like it was. I wouldn't say it was hard for me to get accepted, but
Hey Melanie.
like like for instance, like the little boys, like if you didn't have a certain like toy or something, or if you didn't like have a certain like kind of shirt or clothes or some shit like that, like it was hard for you to like make friends. Like they'll look down on you like, oh, you don't got the same stuff I got. No, we can't be friends, shit like that. But the girls, they would just be friends because they shit, it was just friends. They just became friends so easy. Like,
So now you go to school and you want friends,
mm-hmm.
right? And you definitely ain't about to cry in front of these motherfuckers.
Oh yeah, nah, nah.
So what do you start performing, correct?
Yep.
More repression, more performing. Not only do you perform, boys constantly test each other.
Yep, start acting out in school and stuff like that. Yeah.
You are constantly trying to maintain your status amongst your quote unquote friends.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have no identity now. You start doing what's considered method acting. You cosplay a personality in order to gain acceptance, but you're not being your true self.
Right.
And if you know anything about method acting, like the guy who played with Roger Rabbit, who was talking to himself even after the movie stopped because he
Mm-hmm.
can't, or what happened to the dude who played Joker? He unalived himself. He got too fucking depressed.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I remember that.
If you pretend to be something for too long, it
Yep.
starts being who you are,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So now you go into adolescence where you're supposed to be getting to the beginning, like you're supposed to have your identity formed.
Right.
But you don't because you don't know who you are. You miss the developmental milestone. So what happens is, and you're not able to connect with each other because even though y'all all know y'all got the same insecurities, can't nobody say it. And this is why men support each other because y'all all know y'all pretending.
Mm-hmm.
Subconsciously, y'all know y'all pretending, so y'all protect each other from that. And what end up happening is you miss that developmental milestone and you have this emotional delay.
Yep.
So you can't fully develop, which is why I said, oh, the prefrontal cortex developing for you would be a lot later. And your maturity comes a lot later.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time you get older, you're constantly worrying about your status amongst your friends, amongst other men.
Yep.
And you're trying to protect them at the same time. And your identity comes from this being a man.
Yep.
You don't want to be a boy, not just
Yeah.
any man. You want to be a real man, right? Ain't that the goal to be a real man? Ain't
Yep.
that the ultimate validation for a man to tell you, oh, you a real man? You out here doing your thing?
Yep.
That should get your dick wet, like right?
You got to say it like that, but yeah, I know where you coming from. Yeah, I get what you mean.
So what end up happening is that's why you're not protect. You don't care about that man. You have
Mm-hmm.
empathy for the positions he in because your ego is fragile. It's your ego you're protecting. You need man to be on a pedestal because you put it on a pedestal.
Right.
You can't have people shitting on men. That's your whole identity. So you got to go defend that. You're not just defending that man, you're defending yourself.
Right.
And the reason why men don't have healthy role models who show them that masculinity could be whatever the fuck you want it to be, and that
Yeah.
there are no rules, and all that bullshit you've been repressing was a lie, and that you can say what the fuck you want and move the fuck you way you want to, is
Yep.
because you didn't have who?
Role model.
But what role model though?
A man. Yeah.
Which man specifically?
Uh. Shit. A masculine man.
What man specifically?
Oh, a father. Yeah.
Your goddamn father. That's your father wound.
Yep.
You understand?
Hmm.
So yeah, that's why these niggas circle jerking.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That should be funny when you when y'all be calling them out. That should be having me crying. 'Cause they
And I'm
really
pretty
do.
sure you participate in a circle jerk.
Oh yeah.
It
hundred
feels
percent.
good to be in a explain to us what it feel like. Cause I like listen, I can't imagine the joys of a man being in a circle
Man,
jerk.
when I used to see niggas like when I used to come on people's lives or just in general in life, like when I seen a guy being like, you know what I'm saying, like fucking like attacked or whatever, I'll be like, damn, what's going on? Why they doing them like that? Why they, like, but I had to step back and like realize like, what the fuck did he do so bad for people to, you know what I'm saying? And like 9 times out of 10, the shit they was doing was very problematic. So like your prompt said, like, people who protect predators also like, see, like a nigga will come up here and not even know that they protecting the predator, just come up here and try to be Captain America or some shit. Whole time this man has said some weird shit. Like, it's crazy.
It is crazy. It's fucking wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the shit we expose to every single day. Like
Yeah.
we a bunch of children. We are a bunch of undeveloped fucking children, adults who are children. We're childlike. Matter of fact, the idea of becoming an adult is not as that line ain't distinct as you may think it is. It used to be 21 until some shit happened. People challenged some things, and that was at 18. But age of adulthood at this point should be 25. With the shit we know, adulthood should start at 25. But they can't have that because they need you to be able to go to war, work, and um buy shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I was saying, like, telling women, okay, I did the walkthrough with the boys, and we did a walkthrough with the girl. So the girl, when she cry, somebody gonna pick up, right?
Yep.
Every time something happens, they go comfort her. So she's not learning this level of resilience. She's learning to be dependent on another person,
Mm-hmm.
right? If I'm here by myself, I need somebody here with me to protect me, to make sure I'm okay, to validate that everything's fine, become dependent on that.
Yep.
So, because of that, and there's some other things too, girls, when they enter school, they're more likely to cling to each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is a lot of times you see young girls fighting because men say that y'all fight all the time. Well, that's what conflict resolution is. It is having to fight and dealing with the aftermath of it. It's because like you are getting that emotion out, and that's what it looks like, right? Because
Yeah.
it's not being dealt with in a healthy way, but that's what it looks like. So girls are learning to be dependent on another person, right? And then we also learn that okay, this person is not going to be your parent anymore. You got to find a man to do it.
Yeah.
This man, you got to find a man to like fulfill that role, to validate you're okay, to make sure that you're protected and all the provided. You know the bullshit. You know the bullshit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And at a young age, you see girls starting to seek out boys. They're not trusting themselves. They feel like they have to put themselves second. Because they also, what a lot of boys don't realize is that when the street lights came on and some of them could stay outside or you outside and playing, your sister in the house cooking and cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of girls did that. They had to stay in the house and cook and clean while the boys were outside playing. Thanksgiving came, the girls went straight to the kitchen with the mothers and the aunts and the grandmothers, and you got to stay out on the couch and watch football.
Yeah, got to
Right?
go out there with the uncles and the older cousins out there on the porch or whatnot,
Like
playing
you
some
listen to
artists and
your
all
uncle say some bullshit. A
that.
bunch of
And
they was out there talk. They was being predatory and talking a bunch
yes,
of bullshit. So girls learn, okay, oh, this is what you got to do for the men, and then it's like you got young girls serving grown ass men food and shit, right?
yep.
So it's like girls, that whole identity is tied into the man, what he can do for me. So you have um them sacrificing themselves essentially for men.
Hmm.
And in adulthood, I had a point and I lost it, y'all. Damn. I was going I swear I had a point. I lost it. I don't even know what the fuck I was about to say. My mind went away, y'all. But it be like that sometimes. You want to say something else, Mari?
And shit, really, like I say, like I've learned a lot really from like watching you and a few other creators. So it's definitely like a like I learn something new like every day. Really, like the saying you learn something new every day. That shit really is real. When you know be more open minded to new stuff. You know, so
Yeah.
it's definitely been like refreshing. Like like being closed minded. That shit not fun. Like it's not fun. Like
No, it's mental slavery.
yeah,
Because you have to pretend like you don't have insecurities. You have to pretend like shit don't bother you when it do. You
right.
can't be honest about shit. Like you happy to see your friend. You can't tell him you happy to see him. You can't tell that man you
Yeah,
love
like
him.
shit like
It's
that.
stupid shit.
Like like when I was in that red
Real
pill.
quick, I swear I'm gonna bring you back to it. So
Hmm.
Fanny says like they mature girls enough to serve others but still remain childish and codependent. Exactly. That was perfect the way you said that. Go ahead, Mari.
What I was gonna say? Yeah,
Something
like
about wanting to tell men how you feel.
yeah, I used to like a lot of stuff. Like still today, like I feel like I'm a very vulnerable person. Like when something bothering me, I'll speak on it. You know, and that was another thing that was tough for me when I was a kid. Like like the the horse playing and stuff that kids do and stuff. Like I didn't really like that shit. That shit really bothered me, and I couldn't say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't be considered. I wouldn't be considered one of the boys and shit like that. So I would have to I would like just sit there and go through that shit because I wanted to be I wanted to be friends with a lot of the boys around me. So like the
Now
whole
here's
playing
what
and
I'm gonna challenge you, okay?
mhm.
Because I don't know if you know this, but men are conditioned to feel like they can dump their emotional load on women. So it's probably real easy for you this conversation with me, right?
Mhm.
Do you have friends you can go to and give them a genuine hug and tell them you love them?
Yeah. I have a I have a childhood best friend. We still best friends to this day. So yeah,
Okay, I love that for y'all.
yeah, that's my guy. Yeah,
But even when you recognize these things, it's not like, oh, I know it, that's it. You have to
mhm.
like practice it. You have to like process and put it into practice. Because sometimes you may not realize, but like I said, the patriarchal thinking is in all of us.
Yep.
So just because you're educated about it, don't mean you can now apply it. You have to do the application. You have to keep learning, keep
Yeah, you have
growing.
to keep. Yeah, it doesn't just stop. You have to keep like learning and unpacking, and that's what I've been trying to do for the past like
Okay.
year or so.
All right. Well, I'm gonna end the live, y'all. I'm gonna come back, but hold up, real quick. Which you write down earlier, Mari?
I think it was the Big Brother thing or something like that.
Yeah, go look that up and sign up for it.
I got you. I'm gonna look into that.
All right, I'll be here later, y'all. Thanks for coming up, Mari.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I'll be on here later, y'all. Thank you for everybody who liked and tapped the screen and supported and everything. Shout out to y'all. I see y'all later. Bye.